All right, down to business though. We've
Yes.
got final executable pricing.
Correct.
What's your
Just-
overall recommendation and what it looks like?
Absolutely. I'm just going to make sure everyone's got the pricing.
Yes.
Just from the little
version, I just want to say version 2, right? I sent over a revised, so I just want to make sure.
second.
And
Yeah, that's a good point.
The only change on that is under supplier 3, right?
Correct.
Okay, got it.
And so supplier number 5 is going to be kind of our horse, as you can see, kind of with the lower pricing. And the only reason I'm saying that is I'm not certain where the committee is looking to go, but pricing is rather lofty at this time. The market has run up substantially. I'm shocked here talking to you about it. We haven't seen this in a few years. I'm not sure. Are you looking to do something shorter than longer? And just let me explain it on a little blurb. So it's the same type of numbers. We're really not seeing that much of a degradation as far as you're going out. I mean, the lower number is out further, right? The real stiff month is this coming winter. It's going to be a bad winter. And you can see by the 6-month rates, that's 100% purchase. But National Grid has a buy in March that will bring that price down. But maybe it's going to be high 13s or low 14s. That's what National Grid will be this coming winter. All of that being said, I think at least from the call the other day, we said, well, we want to be something renewable, right? We're going to be looking at something renewable. So I don't know that we need to look at that first block, but the other blocks that we're looking at, because I want to kind of lead you in a direction, that's 100%, the next block down, that's 100% National Wind. That product has extra RECs that you don't necessarily need. Given the pricing, I would prefer that we look at the 3 bottom blocks, and I want to just explain the difference and then talk to you about term. Let's start off at the bottom. At the very bottom, that's the retail supply through the new CESE certificates. So that's basically a brand new designation. That's kind of how we get to the 49%. In that CESE, I just want you to know that that creates a little bit of a problem for you from a green perspective. And what I want to say is, from a green perspective, what makes up this CESE is really hydro out of Quebec. And then the last thing is nuclear, which is most likely out of Seabrook. I don't know how the group feels about nuclear. I just want to know, technically, it's a carbon-free product. There's lots of energy committees are green. Forward-thinking people from a green perspective don't like the idea of any nuclear at all. Let's move on to the other 2. The next one up is a a Maine class 2, which is really hydro out of Maine. There are a few other assets in there, but it's preponderance of hydro from Maine. And then the other one is a National Wind REC, and that's normally out of Texas and Oklahoma, and some out of off the hills of Pennsylvania is another place where you can find some economical wind RECs. These have come up substantially from what they used to be. That being said, I want to turn your attention to term right now. So I'm thinking, just me personally, but it could be any one of the bottom 3 that we're looking. If you're looking for the 1 year, I'm going to just go to the top. Let me just find the least. So I'm going to go to the, because it doesn't have any, the main RECs. And just let me explain why. There's no, you guys could choose something different. The main RECs do not have any nuclear in it, but we're at 13.3. So 13.3, that means, you'll probably be under this winter, just given the high price, but you'll certainly be over next summer. Now, if you go out to 24 months, that's 12.3. So, you're even further under. You pick up a penny of savings, this winter, and you're going to be closer to the rate next summer, right? And then the following winter is anyone's guess what happens right now. I want to state this, just give you a little background. For a long time here, we're used to oil and gas getting a favorable treatment at the federal level. That's kind of going away right now. And I've been watching in surprise, but it looks to me like the natural gas suppliers, the people that are actually drilling gas out of the ground, they're being a little bit more judicial about pulling gas out of the ground. We're not seeing many rigs come on right now. Today we had a injection of about 20, and this is kind of the first shoulder, and they're expected a small one, just given all the turmoil with weather and so forth. But we're even under we're 500 below last year, and we're about 160 million MMBTU below the 5-year average. That being said, it doesn't look like we're going to have a tremendous amount of gas in the ground to meet this winter. So I don't see any pricing going anywhere, if you know where I'm going. So it really depends on what your thoughts are from taking the pain or spreading it out over 3 years. Normally, I would say to you, don't spread the pain over too long, right? Take it shorter and take your medicine. The problem I have is the medicine is very strong on your sheet here. Just
It is. Yep.
I'm here to answer any questions you have, but it is strong. And are you thinking about adding the 2 mills? Because if you didn't,
I would like the Energy Committee to consider reducing the 2 mills to 1 or eliminating them altogether to alleviate the financial burden, at least for this coming term, to alleviate the financial burden on subscribers. But the question I have right now, Mark, is so Grid's supply pricing right now is 0.12760 through April of 2022. Are there any, do you have any idea what the trend might be after that date, where it might be going?
So that's a guesstimate on old pricing, and I should state that that's actually going to be low, and I'm certain of that fact. That 12,760 is low. I'm going to expect, so National Grid goes out 1 week from actually yesterday. So they're going to get a whopper of a number, and most people don't know it's coming, but I'm thinking they're going to be 14 cents, high 13s, low 14s. And the reason I'm thinking that, they had a buy in March. It's going to keep it below the 16 cents that you're seeing here. That's 100% of a purchase. That being said, after that, so if I hate to get technical, but so it's a 12-month purchase, but it's by month. So National Grid has the worst case scenario. All the high months, East, Jan, Feb, are all in their winter price. Eversource breaks that up. So they're going to have an extremely high price this winter. And then next month, starting in May, I expect their rate to be in the 10s, maybe as high as 11. And the only reason I'm going to tell you that is it really depends on their next buy, because they don't have any energy yet for next May. But take a look at 100% of a buy, and it's in the blue shaded, and you can choose any one of them. But if you want to look at the most relevant, it's the top tranche, that's the meats. Take a look at what the energy is going to be looking like. We break it up in 6 and 6, so there's a 6 month, and then there's a split 12 at 6 and 6 months. It's at 10-4, 10-8, 10-8, 10-8. So that says to me it's going to be around 10-8, 11 in that range next summer. Market conditions staying the same. Does that make sense?
I think so.
It does. So doing, because Margaret, I know where you were going with this, is what does do nothing look like if we're just going to get a mid-12s rate from Grid over the winter? Can we just do nothing and then pick up where we left off maybe in the spring? But what you're saying is it's high 13s, low 14s most likely when they post this time next week. So then we're looking at, if we just say 14 cents, we're trying to do the best thing for our residents. How do we get them less than 14 cents through the winter months? And
I just want to mention one thing, Jason, that's your point of not doing it. If you don't do anything come November, I have bad news, but it may not. You could do that. It means you go back to basic service, and then you have to start this whole process over again, which is around 2 years, just so that you're aware.
okay.
So I know that the Energy Committee wanted to do 100% National Wind Recs, 100% green. I think, given the market, I'm wondering if the Energy Committee would consider doing The main class 2 recs, mass requirement plus 51%, at 3 years, with a 1% adder. So you'd still be bringing in a little bit of money for energy projects. But when you add the 1% adder, you're still below NGrid's current supply rate, the basic service rate. So you'd be at 0.12067 for 36 months, and you'd still be getting a 1 mil adder. And you'd still be seeing, you'd still be seeing some renewables, not 100%, but you'd still be seeing some renewables in the, in the interest of the environment. And I think over 3 years, this would become extremely palatable to residents if the rates go up, like Mark is suggesting. If NGrid's basic rates go up, like Mark is suggesting they're going to.
Yeah,
So you might see more subscribers.
Yeah, my only hesitation is 3 years versus 2 years. It doesn't look like there's a massive difference there. I'd rather not have to take the medicine for 3 years, to use your phrase, Mark. I feel like 2 years still gets us underneath National Grid, and we can drop that adder. That's where I'm leaning towards. And I'm, wind would have been nice, 100% green, but I was kind of on the fence, indifferent from the get-go on that. I could have went either way.
You're still 100% renewable on any of these three.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yep. Because you're meeting the Massachusetts renewable requirement, which is 49% for 2021, and then you're adding an additional 51% renewable. So you are at 100, and the Massachusetts requirement increases a couple percent each year going forward. So you might be 1 or 2% over the 100% next year. As that.
So for 24 months, if we went with the main hydro, it's 0.12366, right? For 24 months is what we
And
would be looking
eliminating
at.
the adder altogether?
And the adder is 0.001, right?
Well, it's currently 0.002.
So yeah, it's 0.002. So my whole purpose here is it's the third spot after the thousandths decimal place. So what I would like to propose to the committee is the main hydro, which is 100% renewable at 24 months with the 1 mil adder. So we have a little bit of money coming in, which would get us to 0.12466, right?
Right.
Oh, hang on a second. Where?
Supplier 5, Steve.
Okay, that's what. All right, I was looking at the wrong end.
Yeah, in the orange.
Okay, I see that.
That would be, if I'm looking at this, 24 months feels a little bit better than 36 months. Because as we saw in the last 3 months, the market shifted drastically. It could shift drastically back to where we were before, and then we're stuck with an ag agreement that people are all going to opt out of.
Yeah, and just know that we're going to be in the market the whole time. Like we came to you earlier here, but we'll be looking at a point in time to say, hey, look, the 20. I just want to make sure I'm using it. But after April of 2023, this strip is pretty advantageous. Let's take a look at it. It could be next summer, and we're already procuring out in 2023. So we'll come to you as soon as we start to see that kind of settle down again.
Okay. Steve, Eloise, what are your thoughts? The other voting members.
Yeah, I'm fine with the main class 2 recs. And I'm fine with reducing our adder or even eliminating it. I'm fine with that. My wonder is if we just eliminate the adder altogether and then go for the 36, and we're locking in at 0.11967. And then come spring, summertime, if that drops down to 10, I mean, we're getting the town an average, it's like, if you wanted to play the game, of opting in and opting out, you can actually get yourself some good pricing. I'm just trying to think of like
Mhm.
how like some of the users in the town are gonna be thinking about this.
And Steve, I just wanted to make one point. So you get to set rates. So as long as we notify on any mailings we do, this coming winter, that 11.9, this is going to sound terrible to all on the call, is going to be a good price. You're going to be 2 or 3 cents under basic service. Next summer, I agree, you'll be over. You could take the mill this winter and then back it off starting May of next year of 2022, and to make it a little bit more competitive, if you wanted to, you get to set that rate. I just want you to know, when you make a choice here, it doesn't have to be set in stone. That's all.
For the adder, right? The energy
Yeah,
is,
That
right?
is
The
correct.
energy is, but the adder, we can kind of play the game. We can say, well, we'll use the adder in the winter, but not in the summer, so that there's more favorable rates for the residents.
Yeah,
You
we
can
just
do
need to
that.
know that a couple months ahead, so we can get the suppliers to put in a rate change like 45 days ahead of the rate change. So we just want to make sure they do that, so we don't inadvertently miss the first month of the drop or raise. Yeah, doable.
So how does the committee feel about dropping the adder altogether and going to 36?
Eloise, we haven't heard from you yet. And you're on mute.
I think I need to go check with her. I'll be right back.
Yep.
She went for a snack.
Possibly.
Well, Jay, what do you think about that proposition?
I don't
I know
like 3
it's-
years.
Yeah.
I'll be
mean-
honest with you. I don't like the 3 years. But you could sway me the other way. I don't love the 3 years because of, I think, either way, it's tough. I like the idea of being able to renegotiate within 24 months instead of 36 months, especially if we were going through some bumps and learning this time around. If, as we
Okay.
continue.
I apologize. Eloise is on a laptop now, and I'm promoting her to panelist so she can speak.
Huh.
She was on her other computer that didn't have a mic, so.
Gotcha.
Eloise, you there? Yep, here she comes.
Yep.
Greetings all. Can you hear me?
Hi, Eloise.
Yes.
Yes.
Greetings. I would like to go with the 3 years and drop the adder from 2 to 1. And then we can revisit whether we wish to increase it in the spring.
Okay. Like I said, I could be swayed either way. If you guys feel strongly about the 3 years, we can do that.
So, yeah, I like the 3 years, but it's like, so the reason why I suggested dropping the adder altogether is, it's like, it's the way things are priced, right? $2.99 does not look like $3,
Mhm.
where at 11,967 adding 0.001, you're gonna end up at a
12.
you're gonna end up at a 12. Instead of an 11. So people look at it and think, oh, I'm getting it for 11 cents instead of 12 cents.
But knowing that the adder can be on now and then removed in the spring to make it more palatable, that would be kind of a nice option.
Margaret, so if we play that scenario out from a communication and a resident perspective, over the course of the winter, by staying in the ag plan, you're going to save, you'll be at just a shade over 12 when grid's around 13.5 to 14.5. Come summertime, that rate will drop just below 12, right? For that 6-month period or whatever it might be. that might get you the messaging you're looking for, Steve, where you can say, well, hey, we're not at 12 anymore, we're at 11 and change.
Right, you know, I mean, that's just kind of like what I'm thinking, because people are gonna see, you know, 12 when they can just go into grids like basic service, and I mean.
Yeah,
mean,
but
what,
for
if you
all
look
you
at-
know, next week, National Grid could be bumped up.
Right, but it's definitely gonna drop in 6 months, you know, it's gonna go back down to its summer pricing, which
Then
would,
we'd revisit it.
the adder, because I mean, we'd be locking into the 11,967. Right, and then if grid drops below that, you know, that's the, you know, the.
Okay, put an adder of 0.005.
Bulk up.
Yeah.
Do like the
Well,
squirrel,
it's
do like
just
the
that-
squirrels.
Get it while we can, do an adder of 0.004 over the winter and nothing over the summer.
I think you're getting upset over something that may or may not happen.
No, I'm just thinking about perspective and
And especially if
what the
you-
optics of it looks like. you know.
Margaret mentioned a postcard, so especially if a postcard's gonna go out, right, it's gonna have the rate on it, and we're obligated by DPU to put a link over to National Grid's comparison rates, right? So folks, you know, if it's actually higher than we think, we would probably recommend putting it right there on the postcard that National Grid's rate is this, right? Because then you'll see the 2 or 3 cent difference. If it's not as high as we think, we can just link over, show them how you have access to it, but so that's something to consider too, if you are in fact mailing it to everyone as opposed to just updating a website, a press release, and a public notice.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
We-
we can hold off on updating the website till National Grid comes out with their numbers next week.
Yeah,
I like that idea.
yeah, we absolutely will. You only have to notify 30 days ahead of the rate change. So as long as we get everything updated by 10/1, we're
Okay.
good. We'll know.
Mhm.
We will know Grid's rate by then.
Yeah, and we absolutely have to have postcards sent out. So is there
Yes.
anything special we need to do to do that, or are you just,
We'll take care of
Okay.
it. We'll mock
They
something
do
up.
that.
Yeah, we'll mock something up and send it over to you, like typically what the content we would normally, and we can go back and forth. Yep.
It will have kind of DPU approved language, so you guys we can play with it a little bit. We can't say guaranteed savings or anything like that. I just want to make sure, you know, there's
Yeah.
certain things we can and cannot do, so.
And it'll be like a
Yep.
6x9 card stock, so it's hefty, you know, folks should see it rather than an envelope they're gonna throw in the trash. So.
Okay. So then I'd say then we put this to a vote. So is what we're coming up with is the 3-year main class 2 from supplier 5 with a 2 mil adder through the winter with the revisit of the adder come springtime. Does that sound fair, Steve, Eloise? Is that what we need to put to a vote here? Or you want a 1 or a 0 adder through the winter, Steve? Let me back up for a minute. So how about this? All in favor of the 3-year main class 2 program at 11,967? Are we all comfortable with that on a go forward? Steve?
So moved.
Yeah, seconded.
Okay, so we're good there. So then the only thing that we need to determine is the adder. So I guess let me, Steve, where are you at on the adder?
I am,
He's conflicted.
I am,
He is,
I am,
Eloise.
I am conflicted because I know it's literally 0.002 or 1.
Yep.
And
Can I make a motion that we go with the 2 now and revisit it next week after the National Grid rates come out?
So moved.
yeah, seconded. That sounds reasonable to me.
okay, so you've got a rate of 12167 with the 2 mil adder. Okay. And this will not become effective until November 1st, correct? We're locked in currently till November 1st, right?
Correct.
Actually, to the November meter reads, just so you know, but National Grid has the ability to do that. We can only change on a meter read. So it's the same effect, but it is technically the November meter reads.
And about when would you be finding out about National Grid next week so that we don't hold anybody up?
So just so, normally we would know by, say, the 15th or the 17th. But I think they may hold this a little bit longer than most because it's a bad news story. So certainly by the week of the 20th, we will know that rate. Hopefully by the 20th at the latest. But again, I don't expect them to release the news as early as they otherwise would.
Okay,
But
and
it's,
as soon as we get a notice from Denise or Mark, then we could post a meeting. You only need 48 hours.
Right, so
Yep.
we're gonna need a signature today, though, so that. the-
Yep.
Yeah, Margaret
Margaret.
printed out the page.
Yep, Margaret's got it.
Is there anything else?
Peg, did you have anything to add?
Who?
Nope, Peg just listens in silently, silently.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and sign this. And is an email confirming the Energy Committee's vote sufficient? Or do you need anything more than, the signature page and confirmation of the energy? Okay. All right, then I will do that.
Just write it right in the email that you sent back to me and attach the signature page, you know, what we just said, 36 months. And Mark, we want to tell them who the supplier is.
Oh, yeah, who is it?
the supplier is NextEra.
Which, Nextera?
NextEra. That's correct.
All right. And just to
Okay.
confirm, when this starts, the entire town will be automatically enrolled and they have to choose to opt out, correct?
That is correct. Believe it or not, it'll automatically be switched from Constellation to NextEra. No one will need to do anything.
Okay,
So Mark, with that, so let me get a little more specific with that. Those that have currently have opted out of the aggregation plan, will they be opted back into the new plan?
They
Nope.
will not. They
Okay.
will honor their choice.
Okay,
Now, we'll
Perfect.
probably do a mailing sometime after November, any new customers. It would be the
Yep.
town's choice if they wanted to remail to those customers. We have seen some people that are upset, like, we already said we didn't want to be part of this. But we have also, the program's been up and running for a while. And given the pricing this coming winter, you may decide, well, we want to give people another bite at the apple. It's
Yeah.
your call. You know your constituency better than we do. So it's completely
Yep.
up to you if you want us to mail to them.
Can also elect to mail to people who opted out more than 18 or 24 months ago, you know, initially, you know, we could
Yeah.
kind of limit the potential comments back so we can work that out.
okay, perfect.
Okay.
all right.
All right, I will send you the signature page and confirm the Energy Committee's vote. I'll reply to all, so you all have it. And consider it locked in.
Thank
Consider
you.
it locked in.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
All right, thank
Thanks. All right,
you.
see you.
Have a good
Meeting
day.
adjourned.
Meeting adjourned.